to reject these new regulations that trap women? Will you not stand with us? We are calling on you to help change the equation in one of the most visible ways. The greater respect be given to women's access to reproductive health, and that you turn down these misguided regulations. Virginian women and families should have the right to make their own personal, private decisions without a politician interfering. Please stop this war on women. Governor McDonald, as our governor, you were elected to represent Virginians, all Virginians that reside in our great Commonwealth. We're asking you to work on our behalf and not on an agenda that restricts women. Today, women's reproductive health centers provide a full array of safe, affordable preventive health services. The regulations may drive up healthcare costs or even drive healthcare providers out of practice. Please stop this war on women. As a Virginian who has had the opportunity to travel abroad and at one point has the experience of interning abroad through Family Care International, I feel frightened to see what is happening in our own state. I remember working with communities abroad and being grateful that in America we had access to information and access to reproductive health care centers. I felt fortunate that in America access to reproductive health care centers was safe. And yet today, I can't help but think that I was wrong and that we have plenty of battles to fight right here in our community, in our America, and Virginia. As a Latina American, I can't help but think of what these regulations mean to people of color across our state. In a state where diversity of background, education, ethnicity, and belief have propelled us to be one of the best states to raise a child and do business, we must be conscientious of the impact that such regulations have on Virginian families. Research and data already tells us the realities of racial and ethnic health disparities and how much they already exist, and that women of color disproportionately have a higher level of diabetes, heart disease, breast and cervical cancer. It's important also to point out that at this particular time of economic downturn in America, and with so many people of color and Latinos struggling to find access to affordable quality care, these policies are a distraction from what we should really be focusing and working on. Real solutions to access, real solution to closing the disparity gap, and real solutions to preventative care and education. As a victim of sexual violence, I know firsthand why reproductive health care centers are so important and how critical it is to know as a patient that information provided is private and confidential. You see, I remember those days of guilt and shame, of not knowing how to tell my family what happened, and worst of all, of not knowing why it had happened to me. Virginia's reproductive health care centers provide more than just choice. They provide women the opportunity to take care of themselves and to live a life. The war on Virginia women ends now. Along with other members of our community, including those individuals who could not be here with us today, call on the governor to protect women's access to productive health care by rejecting these regulations. Let's stop playing politics with women's lives and stand in support of access. Stand with us, Governor McDonald. Stand for us. Thank you.
Cindy is not alone. There are many women who are Cindy in this audience. We are all Cindy today, right? We all need this health care. I'm a Cindy. There's lots of Cindy's in this audience here today. They're everywhere. They're usually invisible. It's now my pleasure to introduce Vicki Uroyan. Vicki Uroyan is a third-year student VCU studying political science and social work. She currently helps organize volunteers at the Podium Foundation. She is also president of Young Democrats at VCU. Can I recognize them in the crowd? Are they here today? She's volunteered with Organizing for America, Virginia New Majority, Virginia Organizing, Planned Parenthood, and the Coalition to Protect Women's Health to give a voice to students today. Welcome, Vicki Uroyan.
All right, now hold on, I'm too short for this. Okay, before I begin my planned speech, I would like to say, Shelley Abrams is right. Occupy Wall Street is a social movement that we need to take, and we need to be motivated to organize ourselves and to go out and speak on behalf of our own rights. At 4 p.m. today in Monroe Park, Occupy Richmond will be held, and we will start off here. So stay with us until 4 p.m. We will unite. All right. And we will not be defeated. All right. As an avid Richmond activist, I am so proud of the crowd that I see here today. Although the reason why we are all here brings a knot to my throat. Virginians, we have been lied to. The week before the Board of Health regulations came out, dooming access to over 20 public health clinics across the state, Virginia local news stations came out with a poll claiming 2/3 of Virginians support tougher health regulations on abortions and increased protections for women's health, essentially equating that 2/3 of Virginians support the regulations coming off of the desk of Bob McDonnell. What the media failed to mention was that the regulations coming off of Bob McDonnell's desk directly into the hands of the Board of Health had no legitimate medical purpose to single out abortion providers, and I have heard no rebuttal for our truth since. Bob McDonnell, what is the medical purpose of the regulations you so eagerly passed? In fact, the new law requires these regulations be issued on an emergency basis, meaning that the Board of Health had reduced time to hear comments from medical professionals, public health experts, and the general public. If abortions take up 3% of Planned Parenthood, what Planned Parenthood does, and more women die in the state delivering babies than with first trimester abortions, then explain to us all what constitutes an emergency here. Maybe it's because architectural requirements for buildings does not actually equate to increased health regulations and protection. And you didn't want anyone to find out. But the truth is, we can't just stand up here and blame our governor or our Board of Health. 23 of the public health clinics will be shut down in our state, and it has all started with the state legislator with the proposed bill. November 8th is Election Day in Virginia. We are voting this year on our state delegates and our state senators, meaning the people responsible for institutionally discriminating against women, youth, and people of lower socioeconomic statuses with this trap bill. We can also point out that in our state, these same leaders have been putting institutional discrimination into our laws, causing people with lower socioeconomic statuses to also grossly, disproportionately be people of color, newer immigrants, people with disabilities, and single mothers. I need you to promise me you will come out and vote on November 8th.
Yes.
We need to kick these people out of office and out of control over our bodies, our health, and our future opportunities. Conservative thought only welcomes social, racial, and economic division. Republican Party, your throwback to family values has just been a mask to revert back to eugenic thought, keeping the rich, white, able-bodied, heterosexual man at the top. Well, I've got news for you. Virginia is better than that. We are proud of all Virginian families, not just the ones you want here. And on November 8th, we will all come out and vote you out of office. Richmond and Virginians across the state, say it with me. I will vote on November 8th. And I will vote for progress in Virginia. The time has come for us all to unite. If the state can null and void one of the most essential women's rights, what can be said for the rest of the minorities? Together, we can become the majority, and it all starts with your votes together. Thank you.